Hi friends, welcome to my channel. We learn together. This is your host Harish. Today we are going to react to another history video. This video explains in detail about the history of the city Abu Dhabi in United Arab Emirates. In my last video regarding the history of United Arab Emirates UAE, we didn't get much information, detailed information I would say, but for sure we learned something new from that video. In today's video, which was originally uploaded with the collaboration of Australian and Canadian corporations, it was uploaded by Net Journals, and the video I got it from the Tariq Raiz. The original upload link of the video would be in the description below. If you like the video, I would suggest you please hit the like button, share, provide your comment in the comment section below, and please subscribe to our channel if you like and would like to continue sharing in the history of the different culture and different countries, cities. We would try our best to provide all the videos. For my perspective, I like history. I take history as a stories, and I love hearing about the new stories, about the religion, about the culture, about the tradition, about the city, everything. I like that. I treat them as a story, and it helped me to get knowledge, to get more information and knowledge about that particular region and culture. It helps a lot in certain ways when it's required. So it's a very long video. I'll split this video in two parts. In first part, we'll be getting in what is the history of city of Abu Dhabi, and in the second part, how it transit the modernization of the Abu Dhabi city. So I hope you will enjoy the video. Let's go. Rediffusion London, Australian Broadcast Commission, sorry, not the company's commission, and Canadian Broadcast Corporation, National Education Television. Farewell Arabia is a video name. Farewell Arabia. But it explains about the history of the Abu Dhabi and his wealth.
Is a man torn between two worlds. He's an Arab sheikh who was born in an old Arabia and will die in a new one. He worships Allah, loves the desert, and is one of the richest men in the world. His name is Zayed. Zayed rules a little kingdom in Arabia called Abu Dhabi. 20,000 people in a stretch of sand and salt flats about half the size of Denmark. To the tribesmen who follow him everywhere, he's the undisputed boss.
Okay. Zayed is the king of...
from the back of a camel. He rides it in a limousine. But he remains, as they were, the center of tribal life. He's the man you serve, the man you hunt with, and the man you fight for. Above all, he's the man who leads. Wherever Zayed goes, his men go too.
Obviously, he's a king.
Those who don't travel with Zayed come out of the desert to greet him. They all owe their loyalty to him, and they all expect rewards from him.
Quite an old video.
Zayed's tastes have not been influenced much by his money. He likes the simple life, to drive himself, to go hunting and camping in the desert, to be with his people as a sheikh should be, to follow the ways of the old Arabia.
Old folks singing old songs. And
5 or 6 years ago, the people of Abu Dhabi were sunk in the poverty of 1,000 years or more. The 20th century had passed them by. Today, their ruler, Zayed, is one of Arabia's nouveau riche, who's acquired overnight a fortune from oil. His income could give $5,000 a year to every man, woman, and child in the place. Enough to make
$5,000 a year.
Superficially, the old customs are unchanged.
I wish I could have
Tent
that
goes
much
up as
money.
it always did. The food is prepared as simply as before. Zayed's natural pace is leisurely, almost indolent. Time is about the only thing the desert's been rich in until now. Time for coffee, time for talk, time made into ritual from century to century, from morning till night. These girls will swing their hair, and these men will chant hour after hour. In the desert, there's no rush. At least, that's how it used to be. But Zayed, with his money, has begun to learn better.
True, with money you should start learning better.
In this palace in Abu Dhabi, Zayed had a brother.
Quite old
His name was
palace.
Jackboot, and for more than 30 years he ruled Abu Dhabi in poverty and comparative peace. Jackboot's rule was traditional. His word was law, but he stayed close to his people. Anyone was free to talk to him any day in the Majlis, the tribal council, and as long as they had no money, they were all relatively contented. And then in the 1960s, Abu Dhabi struck it rich, and its troubles started. In a year or two, people were demonstrating about work and wages who'd never had either in their lives before. The grumbles grew as the money mounted, because Jackboot was a miser. All his life he'd been a poor man. Now that he was rich, the skinflint habit stuck. And like a man who's won first prize in a lottery, he found his money made few friends. People began to say his brother Zayed would be a better ruler. He had a mind more open to the world. He was generous. He was a man's man. But Zayed had sworn to his mother years ago that he would never harm Jackboot, and for 5 more years he stayed loyal, and the people waited. The oil flowed. The money poured in, but Jackboot wouldn't spend it. He was paralyzed by habit, suspicion, and downright fear. He knew the harsh old world of Arabia. He couldn't meet the challenge of the rich new one.
Money can do that sometimes.
By 1966, just 5 years after oil had first been found in Abu Dhabi, Jackboot's wealth destroyed him. Zayed sent him into exile and took command himself, ready to say farewell to the old Arabia. But how was he going to do it? Even with a new ruler, the old life still goes on.
Sorry for the shaky video.
A timeless, patient life, dominated by the desert and the unforgiving sun.
Death are still the same. Long deserts abandoned. No one's miles and miles away. But now when I went to Abu Dhabi once for what you call desert safari.
Arabia is a land of terrible heat
It's a
and
good
terrible
place,
winds. Attractive desert as big as Western Europe, practically
Now people are
untouched by
there.
the world until a few years ago. To anybody who doesn't live there, it seems a land of mystery and romance, full of the exotic promise of the veil. There are still people who think of it as the land of harems and the Arabians. In reality, it's a harsh and lonely place.
Definitely, a person like me cannot survive there. Not today. Just imagine 50, 60 years back, how they are surviving. Piracy is a downfall. Oh, I was not aware that Britain also covered then. Beautiful.
God is great. There is no
Streets,
God but God, and Muhammad is his
empty
prophet.
streets.
The religion of Arabia, by tradition,
Camels.
is as forbidding as the land. It's nearly 14 centuries since Arabia was the birthplace of Islam, but it's still the home of the most devoted of all the followers of Muhammad. Islam means submission to the will of God. In the desert, there isn't much you can do but submit and pray for God's mercy. Submission makes everyone equal. A ruler like Zayed is no different from other men in the sight of God. He submits like them, and wherever he is, he prays like them, and with them too.
King is a good man.
Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
The Prophet decreed that the faithful must pray 5 times a day, from
They
dawn to
do
dusk.
prayer 5 times a day.
You can pray together or alone, with a priest or without one. But your submission to God is complete. You're his slave. And you can count on your fingers like a rosary in 99 different ways. May God be praised. May God be praised. May God be praised. Oil has ended the centuries of Arabian isolation. Oil means money. It's worth nearly $6,000 million a year around the Persian Gulf alone. And although most of the Arabian oil fields have been in production less than 20 years, their wealth is cracking the old life of Arabia wide open.
Just imagine if you had that much of oil, what will you do?
To most of us, oil may be just the stuff
How
that
rich
drives
you
the
will be.
car. To Arabia, it's a revolution. There isn't a thing it leaves
Definitely
untouched.
the revolution for Abu Dhabi, for the UAE countries.
It makes the desert rich. It brings the prospectors and the lawyers and the map makers to divide it. For the first time in history, oil brings soldiers to enforce peace inside Arabia. Frontiers need soldiers to patrol them. Prospectors need soldiers to protect them. So the tribesmen who once fought each other and raided the ships and commerce of the world are paid and trained as soldiers to maintain the new law. The poachers of 1,000 years have been turned in a generation into gamekeepers.
Nice transition from poachers to guard.
من اليسار أديتاب تاب
The poachers become the soldiers.
Sultan, chop up, Sultan, chop up, chop up!
$245, sir. 245.
Money begins to make its mark everywhere. The sheikh gets millions, the soldier only a scrap, but it buys a new life for both of them.
302, sir. 302.
245.
You train well.
Bird hunting. I love it.
On his hunting trip, Zayed chases the desert game with a string of falcons as long as his purse. 20 years ago, he'd probably have gone hunting on foot, with only a few birds to help him. Now he takes anything up to 100.
100 birds. 100 eagles, think about it, for a hunting.
Each of Zayed's followers has a falcon to look after. They train them, stroke them, talk to them, practically sleep with them. Like racehorses, they're the pampered darlings of a rich man's camp. And like racehorses, they cost big money. A good bird will fetch $600 or more, imported from Syria or Iraq. And with so much oil money in Arabia now, the price is rising every year.
And that is the amount for that time.
Nothing escapes the touch of money.
True.
Money changes all relationships. When Zayed visits his neighbors now, the traditional feast for a visitor becomes an offering to a wealthy benefactor instead. Unlike many of Arabia's oil millionaires, Zayed believes in sharing his wealth. He told me once, the oil business is like a lottery. I might still be poor and my neighbors might be rich, so we ought to help each other. He's already given away millions. Zayed's host at this feast was one of his poorest neighbors. But now that Zayed has touched his palm with silver, he won't be quite so poor.
King Zayed was a good man.
The feast is traditional. Goat's meat, chicken and rice. And when the VIPs are finished, the lesser men move in. It's always the custom in Arabia for the poor to eat at the rich man's table, or rather, off the rich man's floor. When this lot are finished, there'll still be more to come, in descending order of rank and ascending order of hunger. It's not the most elegant spectacle, and it's not the choicest food, but in a harsh and hungry land, any excuse is welcome for a blowout, especially when it's held for a man with money.
همي ولا باس ان قلت جرب لي القلم باهتمامه ما دام فكري سالي كل هو جاس اكتب معانا ان قلتها بالتمامه معنا على ما دار قلب واحتاس.
The old Arabia pulls at the heart, the world where Zayed was raised and where he always likes to be, around the campfire in the cool desert night, among his men, listening to those endless Arab fairy tales that the audience knows as well as the storyteller, of love and beauty and the 1001 nights. When the hunting's over and the caravan's resting, this is how they've passed the time for 1,000 years. This is the old and sometimes beautiful Arabia, where time is endless and patience more. The fairy tale is over, and everyone now will live happily ever after in the dream world of the Arabian Nights. But in the real world of Arabia tomorrow, it's not so easy. Not even Zayed's best friends can promise him a happy ending to his modern fairy tale that's only just begun. You can't reconcile the old life with $100 million a year, as his brother Jackboots learned. You can't even choose whether you'll have the old life or the new. God and the oil business have already chosen for you. From now on, you can only try to ride the terrible tiger of the 20th century and wonder if it will not eat you in the end.
So guys, I hope you would like this video. Video would be helpful for you. You might have learned something new from this video. This is the part 1. In part 2, we'll, as I said, we'll show you the modernization of City Abu Dhabi. This information regarding this, the information which we got from the video is not very up to the mark, but I believe this is something that we didn't know about it in the past. So now we have learned something new today. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll bring the second part, and along with that we'll learn about the modernization of the City Abu Dhabi. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Please share, mention your comment, share your feedback in the comment section below. Please subscribe to our channel to get more video updates and the information, to encourage us as well to upload new videos, new information on the website to help you out, guys. Peace out. Thank you.